What's up everybody? So today we have our updated Synchro Cyber Dragon list. This deck can either make your Boral Savage, Herald of the Arclight, and Infinity going first, or you can make True King of all Calamities Infinity and draw 2. We changed this up from the Boral Savage draw 4 combo because now we can make Infinity first. We can focus on summoning our core and getting that out as opposed to the Jet Synchron tuning and the Deskbot engine, which we are not playing Jet Synchron whatsoever in here. You see one of the tuners we are running is Tenyi Spirit Adhara because it can special summon itself, leaving our normal available for core. Basically, if you open like core extender or a way to make Infinity and a tuner, you have full combo and can do either one. Sometimes you can go just for the VFD combo, especially if you know VFD shuts off your opponent's deck like game 2 or 3, and you have your emergency search your Hertz, and then bank on hopefully drawing into your Galaxy Soldier, and if not, well, you still have Calamities and a bunch of other cards, and if you're not drawing into your combo pieces, you're probably drawing into your hand traps, so Calamities with a couple hand traps is not a bad option. Here we're going for the 3 negate play. I'm pretty sure I might have had the replays mixed up, but anyway, here we went with going into Almirage. We could have went right into Halka Fibrex, which would make Repair Plant live, but we want to get out Infinity before doing our Synchro combo, so we want to protect our Halka Fibrex play because the Synchro combo just technically does more. The decks have pretty good synergy together and work together really well. We'll talk about once we get to the deck list. I'm going to show these 2 combo videos. So here, despite having core in hand already, we brought back Hertz and attached it because either we can get another core and just keep them, but I would probably go for Cyber Dragon just to get it back to hand to have it, and then you still have core to normal summon 1 engrave if you need to use the banish effect, things of that sort. So now we're going into our Synchro play. We're playing just the one Deskbot 1 because right here you summon your 3 tokens and you bring him back. Going into our Savage, who then equips 1. Don't forget your O-Line token, obviously. And there we have our Arclight. Arclight on its own is super powerful right now. You think like Synchro Eldritch is the best deck, and well, they can't use Eldritch in hand because it needs to go to the graveyard, which under Herald it would be banished. And if they summon Jet Synchron and link it off, they can't summon it back from the graveyard because again it needs to send to the graveyard, and you have 2 other negates backing it up. So if you make this board against them, you win the game basically because they're just not going to do anything, and we see how good the deck is. So now we're going to get into the next board. Here, this one actually works out nice because you notice we didn't open like our core or anything to normal summon. We do see 2 other hand traps that we're playing, and we'll talk about them more with the deck list. But this works out good because you can go ahead and make your Infinity before doing absolutely anything, which is always a really good thing because you're making him before Nibiru. There's 3 summons. There's 4 summons. Infinity is number 5, so you're safe from Nibiru. Now you can just normal summon your hand trap. But again, kind of like Adhara, Arborea is one that can special summon herself if, say, we normal summon anything in the deck because they can all go into our Almirage. And then just special summon to Almirage's arrow, and you get your Crusadia Arborea that way. It's also a warrior. If you don't know where that means, where we're going with that, you will in a little bit. So once again, now we have Infinity, Tuner, Non-Tuner, and we're going to go ahead and do the Synchro play. But this time we're going to draw 2 and end with Calamities because that's the other option you have. It also helps too, we have 2 hand traps in hand already. So go that route. We summon our Rose Maiden, go into our Coral Dragon. Now Coral Dragon goes to the grave and we use 1 non-tuner for Crocodragon. So we get to draw 2 cards. And keep in mind too, there's actually times, depending on hand traps and everything, where I was able to go into him without having Coral Dragon, and I used 3 monsters to do it. 2 of them are still non-tuners, so you still draw 2 cards. Keep that in mind. He's not draw 1 card. You draw cards equal to the number of non-tuners used, so you can draw more off of it. Then we banish our Rose Maiden to bring Coral back to go into another level 9, who then goes into Calamities. And we happen to have Called by the Grave as a form of disruption in this case, but Calamities, Infinity, Called by, Ash, and Mourner. Good game, and let's get on to the deck list. So here we are. Like I said, we changed it up a bit, the whole strategy. We did that because we have a bigger toolbox and the deck just functions really, really well. I've been playing it in a handful of online prize tournaments. We actually just won a Ghost Mourner tournament, so that was really, really cool, beating actually Cosmo in the finals. He opened Triple Reaper game 1, and I didn't need Halka Fibrex at all. I just used 3 machines to make Mecha Phantom Beast Link and ended with Valor, Mourner, Overflow, Pop 2, and Boral Savage, and that was enough to win. A few turns later, just kind of grounded out and did everything I needed to. But yeah, we added toolbox cards because you could do VFD draw 3, but that requires Formula Synchron, Lin Karibo, Lin Cross, and Barricade Blocker just to draw 1 card. And I would rather have Arclight Savage, a second Halka Fibrex, and Access Code Talker in the deck instead, because drawing 1 is okay, but it's not worth 4 extra deck spots, plain and simple. 1 Cyber Dragon. Obviously, I'm a huge advocate of this. Shoutouts to Yassine. I'll continue to do that because without him, I would not have these types of builds, and he kind of engineered the 1 Cyber Dragon builds, and it's worked phenomenally. So shoutouts to him once again. He actually just had a new Cyber Dragon combo video. It's not the popular choices and the way he does things, but he is so smart with the deck, and I do suggest watching it, using cards like Puzzle Mino to make your plays, things like that. He does know what he's talking about, whether you want to agree with it or not. He's always a good person to go and watch his videos. 3 Cyber Dragon Core, because like I said, we're focused on summoning this as opposed to our Jet Synchron, stuff like that. Deck started out as playing what if they hit Jet Synchron ban list kind of game, and nothing happens because we're not even playing it, and I think the deck's better this way for us since we do use our normal summon heavily, and we can put out a negate before doing our Synchro combo, so that's always a good thing. In tournaments, I played through 2 hand traps quite a bit and could still end with Boral Savage. Obviously, 1 negate isn't the best, but you already used up 2 of their cards in their hand, so that's always a good thing. And they kind of just expect you to not be able to play through multiple hand traps, but we do decently often because, like we touched on, well, Mecha Phantom Beast needs 3 machines, or 2+ machines, which we're Cyber Dragons, we can put out machines rather easily. We don't need the Halka Fibrex play to make Auroradon. Other than that, there was a time, you'll see in one of the replays, I should have OTK'd, but I got greedy. I was on Discord with Brock and Lewis, not to blame them, and talking. I would have OTK'd through 2 impermanences and a monster on board, but I overextended, went into VFD, and only did 7,600, where had I used the 2 level 9s, Cyber Dragon and Infinity, I would have dealt like 9,000. But I got greedy and wanted to show off Crocodon's effect to pop a card, and by doing so, I actually ended up missing my OTK, but I won the following turn. 2 replays following the deck list video if you want to see how the deck kind of plays there against Sky Striker and Synchro or Invoked Eldritch. So stick around for that if you would like. If you're not already, make sure you're subscribed. So many of you guys who watch are not subscribed, and I don't know, do you not like the content? Let me know down below, because we're doing a giveaway on the 4th of July if we hit 1,000 subscribers. Go watch the FTK video to find out all of the details, but we already gained like 40 in 2 days. At the rate we're going, we'll hit like 1,300, so we'll easily destroy the goal, and then 1 lucky person will get a playset of Ultimate Rare Machine Duplication. So go watch the FTK video to see exactly how to enter. 3 Cyber Dragon Hertz, great extender, love seeing it, getting back our core, getting back our Naxter, just the play for infinity really. If you open it, it's one of the extenders you want to open with core. Or, like I said, if you open any of your tuner cards, which the hand traps are tuners, so keep that in mind. We're playing a lot of them. There's 9 and 7 more, so 16 with Rhoda, 17 tuners. You're more than likely going to open one, and I'm okay normal summoning a hand trap if it means I'm going to put up 3+ negates anyway, because the 1 in hand isn't as good as 3 on board. 1 Naxter, you don't really want to see it until you're ready for it. It's a follow-up play. You want to summon it out of the deck. This deck isn't, you go first with this deck. You want to go first, but it is still Cyber Dragon-ish, so you can go second. We're playing 7 hand traps, technically 9, which we'll get to in a little while, but 7 defensive hand traps for when you're not going first, so you have a decent chance to see one, slow them down, and then hopefully take control. 3 Galaxy Soldiers because it's a really strong extender in the deck, getting to infinity. Once again, you're going to hear that a lot. Also, it just puts out machines if you need to go to your Auroradon. Tuners, we're playing Adhara and Crusadia Arborea because they special summon themselves, and that's really that. You don't need to use your normal summon on them, so why would you not want them? Also, keep in mind, Arborea, you can summon to your opponent's Link Arrow if you need to. It does not have to be your own. 1 Despot 001. This card would be a better hit than Jet Synchron. I firmly believe that. O-Lion also would be. None of them 3 hits are killers. To kill it, you need to hit Helcafibrex or Auroradon themselves. Personally, I think Auroradon would be the best hit, but with the O-Lion reprint, and, well, banless now, not till September, we have plenty of time to play around with Synchros, and I'm excited because this deck has been absolutely crazy, and I love it. 2 O-Lions. You can still kind of combo with 1, but it's not nearly as easy, so I always prefer to have it in deck, and a few times it came up where I banished the 1 from graveyard to summon the 1 I opened from my hand to keep extending, and it works out really, really nice. Yeah, it just works out good that way. Hand traps, we went 2 Ash, 2 Mourner, 3 Veiler, because started out with 6 hand traps, 2/2/2, but I ended up cutting some other cards and decided to put another hand trap in just to see them a little bit more, and we went with the one that is not once per turn because, well, it's not once per turn. Monster effect negation is very strong in the current meta, so yeah, Ash, very generic, very good. Veiler, very good, and Mourner. Normally I'd say impermanence over these, but they're tuners, so that kind of comes up where you normal summon them or things like that. The one game you're not going to see in the replay, I outed Mystic Mind twice playing against Sky Striker, and then he actually opened set rotation too, so he got out Mystic Mind 3 times on me turn 1, and then sat behind it for a little bit, but I ended up getting into Access Code Talker. It got really grindy, and he Access Code Talkered, and it came down to his Access Code Talker versus my open board, but I had Rose Maiden and Savage in the graveyard, so I can banish her to summon Savage, and I had Infinity in the graveyard with Naxter in hand. He had 1 card in hand, which happened to be a Veiler, so I was unable to win, but we came really, really close there, and Triple Mystic Mind sucks to play through. I'm not going to lie to you guys, it sucks. The card should be at 2 or 1 because if you out it, it's a fair necessary evil, but you should not have to out 3 of them in 1 turn. Sarvis. So this card initially was basically 2 more copies of Called by the Grave because it stops Effect Veiler, Ghost Mourner, Infinite Impermanence when you're going first trying to build your board, and they try to use any of those hand traps because they target a card you control, so Sarvis negates that. But when you open your board of Herald of the Arclight, Boral Savage, Infinity, it's like, awesome, sweet, 3 negates. It's actually 4, because when you pop your Arclight to negate one of their cards, he actually searches out a ritual monster, which happens to be Sarvis, and now you have the targeting negate, so not as good as the others because it's not an Omni negate, but nonetheless, targeting is very relevant right now. Eldritch targets from hand when it tries to send your card to the graveyard. Widow Anchor targets Altergeist now. They target a lot too, so it is very, very relevant, and I am absolutely in love with this card after figuring out that play too. Surprised more people aren't playing it. 3 Cyber Emergency because, well, we want to search out anything. Why wouldn't you want to search it out? 1 Repair Plant because that little bit of a clause on it does come up, especially in a build like this where we have only 8 Cyber Dragon monsters, so it does actually matter, and we don't want to brick on it, so we're playing the 1. Hand traps can hurt, and, well, you don't want to play through hand traps if you don't have to. We don't need 5 cards to combo. It's usually 2 or 3, so Called by the Grave is nice in case you can't make Infinity first, or you just want to make Infinity with everything else, and you can just Called by something. If you happen to draw into it later, it's still a very good card. Versus Eldritch in the 1 tournament, I actually had 2 of them and banished 2 of his Eldritches. He was only playing 2 as most are, and he just auto loses at that point. 1 Pot of Avarice. Had anywhere from 0 to 3, and I settled at 1 because it's basically a 1 card pot. It's a Pot of Greed. That's why we're playing it. By the time you would use it at the end of your combo, you just shuffle back 5 extra deck monsters and draw 2 cards. Like I said, it's 1 Pot of Greed. Rhoda, search out our Arborea because, Rhoda over 1 for 1 because, well, 1, if it's negated, it's a -1, not a -2. And 2, it's better to have Arborea than Adhara because you can make Infinity first easier and before the 5 summons, whereas Adhara, it has to be basically the first thing you do while you control no effect monsters. 2 Overflow because you see it more often than you do at 1, obviously, and it's just such a strong card. Popping, in our build, we can pop up to 3 cards, and it can search out any of our, well, our emergency repair plan or the other copy of Overflow. So I do still really like it at 2. I opened a really weird hand in my tournament where I just won the Ghost Mourner, the finals. It was Cyber Dragon Core, Naxter, O-Lion, Veiler, and Mourner. So I normaled Core, searched out Overflow, Naxter pitch O-Lion to special summon, O-Lion summon a token. Token, Naxter, Core are 3 machines. I use those 3 machines to go into Auroradon. Effect to get out the other O-Line, made Boral Savage. So I ended with Savage, Veiler, Mourner, and Overflow pop 2. Took a couple turns, but we won that game handily. And then game 3, I ended up making Savage, Arclight, Infinity, Overflow, and just won. Because the deck is super consistent. Extra deck, 1 Mega Fleet. Do I miss Fortress? Do I miss 2 Mega Fleet? Yes. Yes, I do. But we don't have the space, and I need the other cards more. I'd consider siding 1 Fortress for sure. But I'm not. But I definitely am considering it. 1 Nova, 1 Infinity. I play that in Pure 2, so why would a variant play more? Calamities. This deck makes Calamities better than the Anchor Drill combo. Just throwing that out there. It's not cheaper, so I can't give you guys that satisfaction. But the deck makes Calamities much easier, so that's a really good thing there, and it's more consistent, better recovery, yeah, so things like that. Herald of the Arclight, because Boral Savage Arclight, Infinity is one of the 2 routes we can do, as you saw. Rose Maiden to help for the Calamities play, and you can also banish her, not just to summon your Coral Dragon. Obviously, if you did that combo, she's already banished, but there's other times like where you go Arclight, Savage, and Infinity. And then a while later in that game, I ended up using a Mourner and a Core to go into my Rose Maiden. This was a Sky Striker story I kind of veered off and didn't finish. I went into her when he had his last Mystic Mine out because I started thinking ahead. Because obviously when he's going to out mine, he's going to get rid of mine when he thinks he has game. So I need to have a plan to be able to come back to recur to do anything. So I can't just have him out mine and now I'm stuck in the water. So I used my Core and Mourner to go into Rose Maiden. So then later, that's how I had Rose Maiden and Savage both in the graveyard to bring him back. And had he not Veilered my Naxter, I would have won that game. But that's how the game goes, and it was a very, very hard-fought match. Sky Strikers are very relevant. Any deck that can play that many hand traps and be able to control the pace of a game through like the way they do. I mean, Widow Anchor, Shark Cannon, Afterburn is really good right now. I was sleeping on the deck a little. I had them as an honorable mention in the top 10, but I might squeak them into the top 10 after playing them a few times. Boral Savage, and then Crocodon for our draw. Remember to quick effect, so meaning either player's turn. Discard 2 cards, target 1 card on the field, destroy it. Pretty good effect. And then 1 Vermilion Dragon Mech. Technically, it could be any generic level 9 Synchro monster, but we just go with this one just because. 1 Almirage, because it helps with Arborea, and whether we're normal summoning Core, Hers, Naxter, Adhara, Arborea, 001, O-Lion, Ash, Veiler, or Mourner, all of them have less than 1,000 attack, so you can go into Almirage. 2 Halqifibrax. 2 is so important because, well, 1, if the first gets negated and you need a follow-up play the next turn, you can still do combo. 2, even if you combo, the next one is you get a free summon then out of the deck to help go into your access code talker. Auroradon for the combo, and like I said, we are Cyber Dragons. We do not need the Halqifibrax combo to make this, especially if like they Ghost Reaper your Halqifibrax. You can still use 3 machines and make Auroradon. And then access code talker, because this card is insane. It helps going second. Any card that your opponent can't respond to is really, really strong, especially when it just blows up their field. And we see fire, water, wind. Yeah, so that means you're popping 3 cards on their field. They can't do anything about it, and he's going to have 5,300 attack. So kind of good. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the deck list. Take care. See you guys next time. And here's some replays for you guys.